Take it one day at a time. Next week, next month, next year is coming whether you like it or not. Where are you gonna be? Now get up, keep going. You don't have time for the gym? The world is your gym. Gravity, your weights. Anywhere, your treadmill. Creativity, your machine. You got this. You are your personal trainer. If you can do this, you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. Nothing can stop you now. Nothing.
Hello everybody, my name is Nino Aldi and this is 3-Act Weight Loss. At this point you've probably seen my transformation video and are here to learn how I did it. You're also probably wondering if it's something you can do too. Well, the short answer is yes, and it's actually pretty simple. I never took any diet pills, never went to the gym. I just came up with a strategy I thought was easy enough to stick to so I wouldn't fail, and as you can see, I didn't. In my course, I explain exactly what I did step by step, and as the title of the course suggests, it's 3 principles, fully understood, easily executed. But before I get into that, I feel it's important for you to know who I am and why I created this course to begin with. First of all, I'm an ordinary person just like you. I'm not a fitness guru, I am a filmmaker. I've spent 20 years working in Hollywood on numerous television shows and movies. In late 2015, as I was transitioning my career to directing, I started making a lot of short films and commercials. One day, I found myself with 2 problems. 1, I was the heaviest I had ever been, and 2, I wanted to make a video that I felt would stand out and inspire. So I decided to combine my problems, and the idea to make the transformation video was born. In January of 2016, I started filming, and by the fall it was done and I had hit my goal, losing 70 pounds in the process. But what happened next I did not see coming. There was a tremendous response to my transformation video, with millions of views and thousands of shares and comments across multiple platforms. It was overwhelming, to be honest. I even went on national syndicated talk shows, and everyone had the same questions. How did I lose weight? What did I eat? Did I really not go to the gym at all? And as I explained what I did, it slowly dawned on me that my process was vastly unique compared to conventional wisdom of weight loss. I realized that there was so much information out there, so many products out there that confuse people or, quite frankly, just don't work. I became in awe of the fact that most people don't seem to understand the truth on the only way to lose weight. And there is only one way. Now, 6 years later, after coaching several people on my process, I found that it worked for them just like it worked for me. And that's why I decided to create a course solely on what I had done to make the video. Now, you might be asking, why a course and not a program? Well, that's easy. Understanding. Everyone I've coached have kept the weight off, which is the most important part. Because if you don't understand how to actually lose weight and maintain it, what good does that do for you in the long run? You can follow a program that combines diet, exercise, sleep, water, macronutrients, etc. But if you don't have deep knowledge on why you actually lost weight, it will come back and you will be looking for a new program. Furthermore, going on a program that combines several activities at once will set you up for failure. It's a terrible strategy for weight loss, as you're doing too much, too fast, and you'll likely burn out and quit like I did in the past. Most programs also combine intermediate and advanced techniques because that is the world that the experts know. It's not that they are necessarily wrong, but it's too much to digest for most people. It's kind of like an NFL coach doing film study with an elementary flag football team that doesn't fully understand the basic rules and principles of football. And my theory is weight loss is beginner information in the world of fitness. Muscle growth, gym techniques, and overall health are intermediate and advanced information. And many of the people that do those things still don't know how to effectively lose weight. And while my course does explain these things, it is tailored to one thing and one thing only: weight loss. Simplified, easy to understand, practical to follow. And more than likely, you are here because you are overweight and don't fully know or understand the truth on the only way to lose weight. I discovered the truth by analyzing dozens of fitness programs, dozens of diets, research papers, and found the through line through them all. Then I simplified a plan to execute it, and teach it. I know this course works, and my transformation video proves that. My transformation video is the course. It is exactly what I did step by step. You see, it's not necessarily what you do, but how you do it that counts. It's setting yourself up for success and not doing too much that'll burn you out. It's doing small things effectively, wisely, while living a full life at the same time. It doesn't require a gym membership or pills. You will learn and successfully lose weight without those things, saving you hundreds of dollars. Additionally, you can follow my course with any dietary restrictions. Whether you're vegan, keto, paleo, whatever it is, this course will work for you. It only requires that you have a scale and a desire to learn the truth. That's it. My goal is to change your life. My hope is that when you learn how to lose weight and put that into action, that you can share your success with others and teach them the truth as well. So join me. You have nothing to lose except pounds on the scale. Hello everybody, I want to welcome and thank you for joining my 3-act weight loss course. I'm excited to share with you the truth about weight loss and give you precise steps to help guide you on your journey. Let's dive right in. When I decided to do my transformation video, I knew how to film it, but I wasn't quite sure how I was going to drop the weight at first. I actually really had no idea where to start. So I researched hundreds of diets, plans, research papers, and tried to discover where to begin. And then I discovered a through line in all of them. I learned that every diet, no matter what it is, every workout plan tailored for weight loss is built around being in one thing: a calorie deficit. Every single one of them. I mean, most don't even say that's what they're doing, but when I added all the calories up, you can clearly see that every single program or diet places the consumer in a calorie deficit. So that is the truth. You must be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. That is the only way to lose weight without surgery. Simply put, eat less, eat more, weigh more. Now, that may sound ridiculous and super simple, but I promise you it's the truth. And here's why. A calorie is a unit of energy, and your body needs energy to do everyday tasks. When you eat and drink, there is a caloric or energy value to what you consume. Your body will then use this energy to perform everyday functions like digestion, thinking, even sleeping. But what happens when you consume too many calories? Well, if you eat more than your body needs, then the excess energy or calories will be stored as fat, which is bad. And that is something, unfortunately, that we do in Western society all the time without even thinking or knowing, because we just have too much access to food at all times. But there is a flip side to that coin. If you eat too few calories, then your body will pull fat that it has stored and convert it to the energy it needs. And that, my friends, is what we want. And data from scientific literature generally agrees that 3,500 calories are equivalent to 1 pound of fat. Therefore, eating 500 to 1,000 calories less a day means losing 1 to 2 pounds of fat a week. And that is science. That is a fact. And that is the truth. And there is no other way around it. So when you hear people saying things like, don't eat sugar, or don't eat fast food, go for a jog, it feels like sage health advice, and it is. But what they're really saying is, sugar is very high in calories. For instance, a bottle of Mountain Dew has 240 calories, a candy bar about the same. Fast food is high in fats, which are also high in calories. A large Big Mac value meal is 1,320 calories, while going for a 20-minute jog burns 200 to 400 calories, depending on your weight and intensity. Now, you may be thinking, Nino's basically saying diet and exercise. I've heard that before, I've tried that before, and it doesn't work for me. Well, I'm certainly not saying that, at least not in the way that you think. I'm also not suggesting that you cut out what you love from your diet or change your diet drastically, as that won't work and didn't for me either. I will get into simple, easy to follow action steps in later videos. But right now, you need to fully grasp the truth that being in a calorie deficit is literally the only way to lose weight. It's not necessarily even about eating healthy, although that would be a good idea. You can actually eat healthy all day long, but if you eat more calories than your body needs, it will be stored as fat. Like, think about going to a restaurant. I see a lot of people, they'll go to restaurants and they'll order a salad. They're like, I eat healthy all the time, Nino, and I can't seem to lose weight. And then I'll say, well, what is the caloric value of your healthy salad? And you'll find with the almonds and dressings and everything that they put in it, it's actually 1,500 calories, which is way more than even a Big Mac. And this is why you can find people that will actually eat a Big Mac a day and be lean, because you can still eat these things, they're just not in a calorie surplus. And again, as long as your calories are under your surplus, you will not gain weight. So you are overweight for a very specific reason. And that reason is you are consuming consistently more calories than your body needs. It's not because of your genetics, it's not because you're big bone, it's not because of your metabolism. It is because, again, you consume more calories than your body needs. That is it. And I'm going to prove that theory through you before this course is over. But where do we begin? There are, after all, only two ways to be in a calorie deficit: eating less through a low-calorie diet and exercise. Are they both equal? Well, not exactly. And I have found that one way is vastly superior than the other. As I've stated in the previous video, there are two ways to get into a calorie deficit. The first is by diet, consuming less calories than your body needs, and the second is exercise, burning calories through physical activity. Now, most experts would say you should do both, as both have health benefits. But health benefits isn't the question we're after at this point. The question is, which is better for weight loss, diet or exercise? The answer is unquestionably diet, and it's not even close. Look at it this way. You could run a marathon and burn 2,600 calories, and then come home and eat a large pepperoni pizza with a large Coke and intake 2,700 calories. You've basically broken even and you're completely wiped, though it would be quite the achievement running a marathon. Or you could skip breakfast and eat the other meals as planned while not working out at all and be in a 1,000 calorie deficit. A week of that and you will have lost 2 pounds of fat without stepping a foot in the gym. Now, again, I'm not knocking the gym, I'm not knocking exercise, but there are plenty of people who routinely lift weights and do cardio, but they don't lose weight because they consume too many calories. And unlike you, they don't know the truth. They, like many of us, have been told our whole lives working out means weight loss. It does not. In fact, if your diet isn't on point, calorically speaking, you're toast when it comes to weight loss. This is something that happened to me recently when I went into a gym and I talked to a trainer there, and he was asking me what I did to stay lean, and I told him my process, and he said, he goes, "That's so funny," he goes, "because most people really don't understand that principle of being in the calorie deficit. They're trying to train harder, lift harder, and do all these things, and then they go and they blow it in their diet." Say you eat a pizza 7 days a week, but you aren't monitoring your intake, so you eat an extra slice more than you need. That's 300 calories. If you wanted to burn that off, you'd have to walk for 83 minutes. Which is easier, not eating the extra slice of pizza or walking for 83 minutes? Now again, you might say, I can walk for 83 minutes, but who has a time for that? The logical conclusion is don't eat the extra slice because that adds up. If you ate pizza every day for a week and then had one less slice than normal, that's 2,100 calories. And remember, 3,500 calories is equivalent to a pound of fat. That means if you ate one less slice of pizza every day, you would lose 1/2 pound of fat that week. And that's a crazy concept because pizza is not known for being healthy. You didn't lose weight by eating healthy, you actually lost weight by eating less. And additionally, exercise doesn't burn off nearly as many calories as bad diet choices adds calories. Drinking a 6-pack with your friends on the weekend is 1,200 calories. You'd have to walk for 332 minutes to burn that off. That's nearly 6 hours, which of course, no one has time for that. You could eat a donut for breakfast and then burn it off by running for 30 minutes. Or, instead of going to the gym and jumping on a treadmill for 30 minutes, don't eat the donut. Have you ever noticed that only wealthy people in impoverished countries are overweight? Why is that? They can afford a trainer, a gym membership, and they often do have a personal trainer. It's because they can also afford to eat anything, anytime, and they do. The people in the same country in poverty, however, can't eat whatever and whenever they want. They can't easily get in a calorie surplus and therefore rarely are overweight. What about those people who go on those Survivor TV shows? Their calorie intake just dropped because there's a scarcity of food and thus cannot gain weight but end up losing it. By the end of the show, they've lost a bunch of weight. Now, I'm not saying you should starve yourself because you most definitely shouldn't, nor am I saying that you shouldn't be making healthier diet choices. I'm just making the case that you should use a low-calorie diet as a way to lose weight and exercise as a way to stay healthy and fit. To me, weight loss is 90% diet and 10% exercise. And you may be thinking, that's great, Nino, but how do I know how many calories I should be eating? And I've been on diets before that I couldn't stick to them. So what's your plan for that? Well, these are important questions. And in the next video, I'll explain a comprehensive plan to execute a low-calorie diet. In the video after that, I'll explain how to figure out how many calories you should be eating in order to lose weight. Stay with me. I promise it isn't as difficult as you think. Hello everyone. So far we've learned the truth that the only way to lose weight is being in a calorie deficit. We've also learned that diet is more efficient way to stay in a calorie deficit than exercise, though exercise does have its benefits, but it can be hard to stick to a low-calorie diet. So what is the best strategy to achieve that? Well, I'll be talking about the strategy I use to make my transformation video, and I'll think you'll find it's quite unique and simple to follow. I want to take you back to my mentality when I was obese right before I started the transformation video. Up to that point, I had tried to lose weight several times in the past by following conventional wisdom, but found it didn't work for me. Then I set out to figure out why. I figured out that when I failed to lose weight in the past, I was trying to do too much and at the same time. I followed a bunch of expert advice simultaneously. I tried eating a clean and healthy diet I wasn't used to. I followed an exercise program. I drank tons of water. I took supplements. I meal prepped. I got on a sleep schedule. I got a gym membership. I did all of these healthy things all at the start of my journey. What I was really doing was setting myself up for failure. After all, going to the gym requires getting up early, 30-minute drive, and a huge commitment to keep it going. Half the time, I found myself waiting to use equipment and the whole ordeal taking a few hours. Once life happened to me, I didn't go to the gym, and then I felt bad, so I ate. Sound familiar? So before I started my transformation video, I knew I needed a different approach. I figured it would take approximately 9 months to complete the video, and I wanted to set myself up for success and ease into it. So when I set out to do the video, I started by doing one thing and one thing only: monitoring my calories. I didn't change my diet. I ate everything I normally ate, but stayed around target numbers generated by a free app I'll tell you about in the next video. I didn't go to the gym, and I didn't exercise in any way whatsoever when I started. I didn't monitor my sleep, I didn't take any pills, or do anything else. I ate the same way I always did, but just less. And I was blown away by the results. After the first week, I was down 3 pounds, and I marveled at the fact that I had only done one thing different: monitored my calories. The second week, I did the same thing and lost another 2 pounds. That was the moment when I discovered the truth, on accident, that just counting calories to keep you in a deficit would equal weight loss. It was hard to believe at first, just like I'm sure it's hard for you to hear it right now, as it was a big paradigm shift. I was still convinced, due to years of listening to experts, that I had to exercise to lose weight. I had to eat healthy to lose weight. But I didn't, and weight was still falling off. Now, I remember when I first started tracking my calories, I would get healthy choices from, Walmart or the store, and people would give me a hard time at the office saying, "That's processed food. Processed food isn't good for you." But I was like, well, listen, I know the caloric value of it and it's easy for me to track. And the other thing that I found is the #1 health disease out there is heart disease from obesity. So starting where you are to count your calories is good. And also, as time would tell, I actually outperformed everyone in my office, and no one by the end of it could believe what I looked like. And I did learn over the course of 9 months, however, that not all foods are created equal. So there is some truth to that. Some foods are overall better for health and well-being, and some have a thermogenic property. I also learned that there's a point when you will want to incorporate some sort of exercise. Eventually, I would do all of those things, only changing one thing week by week. But I found that starting where I was and slowly changing into better habits over the course of time was the way to go. I would lose 2 pounds a week on average and it was really, really easy. Almost immediately, I would start seeing the results, then I found myself getting really into it. Then I would research more and make healthier adjustments as I continued. And another very important thing I discovered is that your body will get used to whatever you're doing in about 2 weeks or so, and your metabolism will slow because of it. So you actually need to change it up slightly to keep your metabolism going. Therefore, if you throw the kitchen sink at healthy lifestyle all at once, you will still hit a wall, and you'll likely burn out and quit. But progressively losing 1 to 2 pounds every single week and changing one thing in your diet here and there is easy, and it's the most efficient way that I've found to go. Eventually, you'll end up eating better and you'll probably incorporate some form of exercise. But at the start, I literally did nothing else but count calories from the food that I normally ate and lost 10 pounds in 4 weeks. Then I started to adjust as my body got used to it, and the weight continued to come off. My strategy has worked for me and everyone I've coached, and I know it'll work for you. So the first step is starting where you are right now. Eating the same foods you eat right now, just less. In the next video, I'll explain how to figure out how many calories you need and the tools for how to count them. We'll see you there. Hello everyone. So far we've learned that the only way to lose weight is to be in a calorie deficit. We've also learned that diet is the most efficient way to stay in a calorie deficit, and I've gone over my strategy on easing into a weight loss journey as opposed to doing everything at once. First stage of the strategy is counting calories on food you are currently eating. In this video, I will teach you how to figure out how many calories you should count. Remember, 3,500 calories is about the equivalent of 1 pound of fat. Therefore, eating 500 to 1,000 calories less a day means losing 1 to 2 pounds of fat a week. But before I dive into specifics on how to count calories, I want to give you some more information on how your body uses calories in the first place. As I've stated in an earlier video, calories are a unit of energy used by your body to perform everyday bodily functions, consciously or unconsciously. Everyone has a BMR, or basal metabolic rate. BMR is the amount of energy required to carry on its vital body functions at rest. Things like pumping blood, maintenance of body temperature, cellular activity, respiration, circulation, etc. Basically, your body burns a certain amount of calories a day without you doing anything. That's BMR. The way to figure out your BMR depends on your age, gender, weight, and height. There are few formulas for this, but the most popular one is the Mifflin, and it's quite complicated to sit with a calculator and figure that out. Or you can do what I did and use a free calorie counting app that'll literally do that for you, as well as track the foods. Most people will fall between 1,000 to 2,000 calories, though if you're obese, it's likely higher due to weight. There are dozens of calorie counting apps out there like MyFitnessPal, Lose It, etc. I will be teaching you how to use the one that I used on my journey. It's called Lose It. Lose It will calculate your BMR for you and will give you a suggestion on how many calories to eat per day to lose up to 2 pounds a week. It's important to note that it is never safe for men to ever consume less than 1,500 calories a day, and for women 1,200. Going past that isn't healthy and can damage your metabolism, putting your body in starvation mode. Don't do that. The good news is Lose It won't let you set it that low, so you don't need to worry about it if you use that app. More than likely, if you're overweight, you've probably been consuming over 3,500 calories a day. So if your app sets it at around 2,000 to 2,500, you are going to lose a good amount of weight right away. And again, I strongly recommend using an app as opposed to tracking it by hand. They are easy to follow, and it's the core of what I did when making my transformation video. Now I'll be showing you how to navigate through the Lose It app. After you download the app, you'll have to set up a basic free account with your email. After that, they'll ask you for your age, weight, and height to figure out what your BMR is. Then they'll ask you what your goal weight is and how many pounds per week you want to lose. I recommend setting it at 2 pounds per week. The reason for this is that if you go over your allotted limit of calories on some days, you'll still be in a calorie deficit, losing some weight. So it may not be 2 pounds, but it would be 1.5 pounds, which is still pretty good. If you set it too low, like a 0.5 pound a week or pound a week, you have to hit the numbers pretty spot on to actually lose weight. Once you're in the Lose It app, it'll take you to your home page. You can scroll on the tabs at the bottom to navigate the app. The first on the left is called My Day, which shows how many calories you've consumed for the day. The second tab is Log. When you click on that, it'll show you your breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snack logs. The third tab is Goals, which will show you your current goal and graphs your progress. And as you can see on mine, I started in January 2016 at 220 pounds and went down to 150 pounds, maintaining about 160 ever since. Logging your food is easy. Simply click on the Log tab and then Add Breakfast. A new window will open allowing you to either search for food, scan barcodes, add recent food, add recipe, or search brand. Almost all of the products you buy have a barcode on it. Just scan it and the nutrition facts will pop up, then click Add and it will automatically log it for you. Food without barcodes like fruit and veggies, you can search. And when you locate what you're looking for, select Add and it will log it for you. Do this for everything you eat and drink for the day. When your calories reach your max allotment on the app, stop. And then the next day, repeat. Before you know it, you'll be down a ton of weight by just limiting your calorie intake. Now, you may be thinking logging is going to take some effort and getting used to. Well, yes, it will take some effort, but it shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes per day. And also, I want to put this into perspective for you. It would take you longer to drive to the gym, let alone workout, than it will to log your food. And this method actually works and will work immediately. So take up a moment to set up your Lose It app or whatever calorie counting app you like. But before you begin logging, head to the next video. We're going to review what we've learned, and I'll have a couple more tips you need to know before you start the process. We'll see you there. All right, everyone, in this video, we are going to review everything we've learned, and I'm going to lay out a few tips and instructions before we dive in. Let's recap what we've learned so far. First, we've learned the truth that the only way to lose weight is to be in a calorie deficit. Then we've learned that diet is the most efficient way to stay in a calorie deficit. Then we've learned the strategy I used for weight loss, which was doing one step at a time. And the first step of the strategy is counting calories on foods you are currently eating. And the most efficient, time-saving way to count calories are by using a free calorie counting app. So now we are going to put all of this together for a 6-day challenge to prove this concept works. And the challenge is this: log your calories every day from foods you are currently eating for 6 days and try to stay as close as possible to the number on your calorie counting app. Weigh yourself in the morning on day 1, weigh yourself in the morning on day 7, and that is it. Don't exercise, don't try to eat healthy, don't take any diet pills, don't eat anything different than you are normally doing. You are just eating less calories from foods you normally eat. The main reason for this challenge is because it'll prove to you the truth about weight loss. Because you might still be skeptical and caught in the negative paradigm of years of health and fitness advice that says eat healthy and exercise is the only way to lose weight. When you only change one thing and lose weight, then you know for sure what made that change. And it'll shine a light on why you were overweight in the first place. It'll prove to you that you can lose weight, and it'll prove to not be that difficult. And most importantly, it'll prove the truth on weight loss that will literally change your life forever. And if you learn nothing else from this course, you need to understand it. The only way to lose weight is to be in a calorie deficit, and the easiest way to do that is through diet. And that statement needs to really hit home. Remember, 3,500 calories is about the equivalent of 1 pound of fat, and eating 500 to 1,000 calories less a day means losing 1 to 2 pounds of fat a week. All you need to do is log your calories. Don't guess at it. You'll be wrong. It shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes a day. You can literally do this. And if you don't have 5 or 10 minutes to spare, you don't have a life. Plus, it's the only thing I'm asking you to do at this point. Just log what you are currently eating. You can eat anything in this 6-day challenge as long as you stay close to the numbers on your calorie counting app. Remember, you don't want to starve yourself or your metabolism will hang on to the fat. You want to stay as close to your suggested numbers and not stress too much if you go over by a little bit. Keep it simple, do what you can. And here's a really easy tip to start out. Cut out regular soda if you drink that. A 12-ounce soda has 140 calories. If you drink 4 sodas a day, that's 560 calories. So if you just not do that, you will lose 1 pound a week. I would suggest cutting out regular soda if you drink that, with diet soda or some other no-calorie drink. Now, I have to tell you, because sometimes when I say that, people will be like, oh no, but aspartame in diet soda, that regular soda is actually better for you. That's based on a scientific study with rats that caused cancer. The amount of aspartame in it was like 5,000 times, or some ridiculous number that's impossible for a human to get, which is why the FDA actually has not banned diet soda. And I'll tell you what the #1 killer is, which is obesity, and eating excess amount of calories will turn into fat. So it's much easier to just not drink regular soda. And if you have to drink soda, just do a diet soda or do a black coffee or a tea or something that doesn't have calories. And that's kind of really all you probably need to do, honestly. Now, there may be some days when you go slightly over your allotment. That's okay. As long as your weekly intake is down, you will lose weight. It's also important that you weigh yourself at the same time of the day, ideally first thing in the morning. And the reason for this, because your body weight fluctuates by up to 10 pounds per day due to fluids and water weight and whatnot. So to get a consistent and accurate reading, you want to weigh yourself first thing in the morning. Just wake up, use the bathroom if you need to, and step on the scale. And that's it for the challenge. Just 2 steps. Let's recap. 1, weigh yourself first thing in the morning. 2, log your calories, eating whatever you normally eat, staying close to your numbers. Simple. And one last thing before you go. Don't watch the next video in this series until you complete the 6-day challenge. Instead, re-watch the first 5 videos every day. Remember, this is a course, not a program. And with a course, you need to learn and understand what you're doing and why it works, fully and completely. And I fully believe in this process, and now you must also believe. You can do this. You can at very least try this if you're still skeptical. Take the challenge, rewatch the first 5 videos, the weight will fall off, and you'll be amazed by the results. And I'll see you in the next video a week from now. Now go get it. Congratulations, you've completed the 6-day challenge and undoubtedly have lost weight by only changing one thing. Doesn't it feel good? You've learned the truth, you've tested the truth, and now you know without a doubt the truth about losing weight. We've reached the end of the first act on my 3-act weight loss course. This first act is by far the most important of the 3 for numerous reasons. You can use this principle at any point on any diet and you know that it will work. Forever going back to this principle no matter what your diet is, whether it's keto or paleo, whether you're vegan, and what you just did as well goes against conventional wisdom. Remember how you had to eat healthy and do diet and exercise and all these crazy things, and yet all you did was eat less and lost weight. So that is the truth. And when I learned the truth, it allowed me to keep going. Remember, this course is about what I did on my transformation video, and I boiled it down to basically 3 concepts. And now that we've mastered the first concept, which is calorie counting alone to lose weight, the next video will be beginning of Act 2, the winning strategies on how to build on the truth. We'll see you there. Building on the truth of weight loss is the entire second act of my course, and, like a movie script, you'll find 2/3 of the information in this act. This act is all about winning strategies. While the truth for weight loss is the key to success, you are inevitably going to be hitting a few roadblocks along the way. The reason for this is due to your slowing metabolism. When you are in a calorie deficit for a prolonged period, your body is going to recognize the pattern and start to slow your metabolism because it thinks you're starving. This is something that is actually a good thing if you are actually starving, as it would prevent you from wasting away to nothing. But because you are not starving, we want our bodies to keep burning fat. Now, there are several ways to do this, but it's first important to know when your body is adjusting and your metabolism is starting to slow. And it's different for everyone. Your first few weeks, you'll be able to get away with calorie counting alone, and you'll lose probably more than your calorie counting app accounts for. Your body's been used to having to carry around and digest way more calories than it needs, so when you cut back on them, your body will easily get rid of excess fat, as it needs to do this to keep functioning properly. And depending on how much weight you have to lose, it could take months for your metabolism to slow. I coached a young woman once who needed to lose about 150 pounds, and she was on the first act of my course of calorie counting only from food she currently eats for about 6 months before we made any adjustment. She averaged losing 2 pounds a week, 10 pounds a month for the first 6 months. Then her metabolism started to adjust, so then we started to adjust. For myself, when I did my transformation video, I was overweight but not overly obese. I lost 70 pounds but really only needed to lose probably 60 as I got very lean at the end. And I found that after the first 2 months I lost 10 pounds each month. But the first week on month 3, nothing changed. So I started to adjust my diet and the progress picked right up again. So depending on the myriad of variables into your unique situation, my advice is to keep going until you see a week where you maintain your weight despite being in a calorie deficit all week. And then mix it up by making small diet changes. But if it's not broken, don't fix it. Remember, you're in this for the long run and you don't want the weight to come back. Roadblocks are inevitable. If you make a lot of adjustments all at once, you'll still hit a roadblock. But then where will you go from there? The strategy is to do one thing at a time until you hit the roadblock. Having said that, there is one false positive in weight loss, and that is water weight. You are 90% water, and your weight can fluctuate by up to 10 pounds per day depending on when you weigh yourself. That's why I recommended you weigh yourself at the same time each day, preferably first thing in the morning. Also, eating certain foods high in carbs and sodium retain water, and you can actually gain weight in a week while still losing fat. But remember, if you're in a calorie deficit, you are burning fat. If your weight goes up, it's just because of water retention, not fat retention, and eventually the scale will come back down because you'll still be losing fat despite what the scale says. And according to the World Action of Salt and Health, eating too much salt causes the body to retain around 1.5 liters of extra circular fluid. If you're female, water retention may also be due to hormonal fluctuating, such as those occurring before your period. But if you're monitoring your weight in the morning every day, it should be consistent weekly, but may not be necessarily daily. And if you run into a week of non-progress and you don't believe it's water retention, then it's time to mix it up. There are several ways to do this to keep your metabolism going. There's nutrition, meal timing, meal prep, accountability, macronutrients, supplements, sleep, stress, water, and exercise. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but we will be going through them in this act so you can know what to try and when to try it. Remember, you want to keep calorie counting until you hit a wall and then adjust with one of these steps. So up to this point, you've been calorie counting and have been having success. But what happens when your metabolism slows and you don't see progress? Well, there are several tricks I'm going to teach you in later videos on that. But first, we are going to tackle the only other setback, and that setback is you. There are two ways to keep accountable, through others and through yourself. Now, you need others to encourage you to keep going, but I found that other people actually hold you back more than they encourage you. So people, well-meaning, have a tendency to knock you off course. What you want to take from them is the compliments on how nice you look. That'll make you feel good and is assuring that what you're doing is working. After all, everyone will compliment you when you're losing weight, but won't say a thing when you're gaining weight. The other thing that well-meaning yet ignorant friends will do is convince you that you've hit your goal. For me, when I was making the transformation video, I really wanted to end up looking like a fitness model. From where I started at 220, when I was down 40 pounds, I actually looked pretty good, and people were like, "You look great, Nino," all the time, and they wanted me to stop. And I would have, but I had a very clear goal in mind, which is why I didn't. Because I had to have that clear goal in mind, I needed to hold myself accountable. I never quit when I went off the rails on my diet, which did happen. You see, occasionally I had a party, holiday, or ate too much. That's okay. That's called living. Overall, I found it really didn't affect me, and I got right back on track. Also, eating less during some days of the weeks than others still allows for weight loss if your weekly total is down. It's called Weekender on the Lose It app, and it's kind of cool where you're really low Monday through Friday, and then you're a little bit higher on Saturday or Sunday, Therefore, it's the same deficit weekly, but you get to eat a little bit more on the weekends and live your life. I noticed that as long as I was doing fairly well most of the time, the weight came off and I didn't feel deprived. And I actually used to grade myself weekly on my progress to hold myself accountable. I used to use the old school grading system where 90% is an A and 50% and below was an F. And I found that if my GPA was above failing level, I lost weight at the end of the month. More if I was an A, obviously, than if I was a D. And remember, and this is vitally important, this is long term. You need to consistently be losing weight. So as long as the arrow on that scale is going down, it's a win. Because more weight will drop off some months than others, but if you keep yourself accountable, the number will always be getting lower. And that is the first step to maintaining progress. The second act on my course is all about tricks and hacks you can use to keep your metabolism humming when it starts to slow. The first thing you should look at is nutrition. All calories are not created equally. Remember, a calorie is a unit of energy. All foods have a caloric value. The statement, all calories are not created equally, is really, all foods are not created equally. Or, in the vernacular, some foods are better than others. Now, this is the type of topic you've likely heard from experts your whole life, what to eat and what to avoid. Food has more than just a caloric profile, but it also has nutrition values with vitamins and minerals that help you feel better and keep your body moving. Ideally, you'll start making healthier choices in your diet that keep you in a calorie deficit and will give your body the proper vitamins and minerals it needs to keep functioning properly. There are endless articles and studies on vitamins and minerals, but if you'd like to Google it. But here are some of the basics. Vitamin A for skin, eyesight, growth and development. Vitamin B for health and well-being. Vitamin B12 for reduction in skin acne, keeping blood and nerve cells healthy. Vitamin C for functioning immune system. Vitamin D for boosting energy levels, immune system. Vitamin K for helping wounds heal. Iron for general energy and focus, magnesium for excellent performance, anti-inflammatory benefits, zinc for aid in metabolism, digestion, and nerve function. So those are just a few examples of the many vitamins and minerals that exist, as well as some of the benefits they include, though there are many more. An ideal diet includes these things naturally, but as I'll state in a future video, you should find a multivitamin you'd like to supplement your food, as you're probably not getting enough of these vitamins. And remember, eating healthy foods will make you feel better. The kinds of foods I'll be talking about for the rest of this video are the ones that I find best for losing weight. Keeping to the truth of eating less calories to stay in a deficit, you want to incorporate a diet that has at least one of these three qualifications. 1, it's satiating. 2, it's high volume. 3, it's thermogenic. So let's talk about the first one, satiating foods. These are foods that naturally make you feel full. They typically are high protein, high fiber, high water content. When you eat these types of foods, you will feel full. And that's good because when you're full, you're less likely to overeat. And more importantly, it tells your body you aren't starving, thus your metabolism won't slow as easily. Foods that typically top every satiating list are eggs, legumes, fruit, Greek yogurt, soup, meat, oatmeal, fish, quinoa, boiled potatoes, vegetables, popcorn, and cottage cheese. The next qualification you look for when choosing foods are its volume. A food that's high in volume typically means it's high in water, fiber content, and low in calories. Volume eating is a method that allows for large consumption of food while minimizing calorie intake. Think a salad with no dressing. Like a whole bag of salad is like 35 calories. Given that, gram per gram, different macronutrients provide different number of calories, volume eating allows you to prioritize high volume foods to help increase fullness without increasing calorie intake. And volume eating is based on the fact that food's physical weight and calorie content are not directly correlated. In short, volume eating is a way of eating more food without overly increasing calorie intake. Here are some of the top high volume foods. Leafy green vegetables, lettuce, spinach, kale, etc. Vegetables such as cabbage and cauliflower, Brussels sprouts and broccoli. Stem and other vegetables like peppers, onions, zucchini, and celery. And fruit, especially berries. And as you can see, most of these options are fruits and vegetables, so a high volume strategy is likely the best option if you're a vegan or vegetarian. And even if you're not though, it's a great idea. You can literally get an entire salad from the store, again, and see that the whole thing is 100 calories. I'm going to say what the opposite of volume eating is, which would be peanuts and nuts and peanut butter. You can get a tablespoon of this big of peanut butter, and it'll probably be 170 calories, which fills up no space in your stomach when something like, a bag of steamed broccoli is like 100 calories. And I'm also going to say, beware of eating salads at restaurants, because the dressing on the salads are not high volume and are loaded with high calorie fats in the dressings. And most restaurant salads have at least 1,200 calories. So if you're going to go the salad route, add some sort of vinaigrette dressing. That's the way to go if you can't eat a dry salad. Now on to the third qualification for your foods, thermogenic. Thermogenic foods are foods that boost metabolism and burn more calories than normal during digestion. So here are some foods that have a strong thermogenic effect. Lean protein, egg, salmon, chicken, steak. You'll see most protein really, because it takes more effort to digest than carbs, therefore it burns more calories, making it thermogenic. There are also some foods that are high in complex carbs that are also thermogenic. Complex carbs are soluble, fiber rich, taking longer to digest, and thus your body burns more calories consuming them. Foods like sweet potatoes, oatmeal, yams, and blueberries. In summary, when you hit a wall and need to get your metabolism humming again, replace some of your normal diet foods with something that's either satiating, high in volume, or thermogenic. Try mixing in some of the foods listed here and find out what works for you and what you like. And then stick to that until you hit your next roadblock. Remember, the strategy is to stick to what's working and then adjust when your body gets used to it. Hi everyone, we're continuing the second act of my course on strategy, tricks and hacks you can use to keep your metabolism humming when it starts to slow. In this video, we'll be discussing a key part, macronutrients. Macronutrients, or macros as you'll often hear them called, are nutrients that the body uses in relatively large amounts and therefore needs to receive daily. There are three main types of macronutrients: proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Your body also requires micronutrients such as vitamins and minerals in smaller amounts. But the macronutrients provide your body with calories, which again are energy, and the building blocks of cellular growth, immune function, and overall repair. Here's what you need to know about macronutrients and why a balanced intake of these vital nutrients are necessary for optimum health and wellness. Each of the three primary macronutrients affects the body differently, so to make sure that you're getting the right amount of each macronutrient in your diet, it helps to understand the role each macro plays in your body. Carbohydrates are the body's preferred fuel source. Converting carbohydrates into immediately usable energy is easier for the body than converting fat or protein into fuel. When you consume carbohydrates, the food is converted into sugars that enter the bloodstream. These sugars, in the form of glucose, can be an immediate source of energy or stored in the body's cells to be used at another time, called fat. Carbohydrates can either be complex or simple. Complex carbohydrates are made up of long strings of sugar units that take longer for the body to break down and use. Complex carbs have a more steady impact on blood glucose levels. Typically, these are the types of carbs you want when you are trying to lose weight: oats, quinoa, etc. Simple carbohydrates are made up of either one or two sugar units and can be broken down fairly quickly into the body. Simple carbs have a fleeting impact on blood sugar levels. Some types of carbohydrates, when consumed in isolation, such as juice or sugary candy, can cause blood sugar and energy to rise quickly and then drop shortly after. Call that a sugar high. Simple carbohydrates you should try to avoid when trying to lose weight. things like white bread, white rice, sugar, honey, etc. The next macronutrient is protein. Protein provides the body with amino acids, which are the building blocks for muscle and other important structures such as the brain, nervous system, blood, skin, and hair. Protein also transports oxygen and other important nutrients. In the absence of glucose or carbohydrates, the body can reverse process protein to use as energy. Your body makes 11 amino acids on its own. There are 9 amino acids that your body cannot make, known as essential amino acids, which means you need to consume them through your diet. You can consume different types of protein to get these amino acids. Complete proteins provide all the amino acids your body needs in the appropriate amounts. Most of the common sources of complete protein are meat, poultry, seafood, eggs, milk, and quinoa. Incomplete proteins provide some, but not all, of the amino acids you need. Many plant-based proteins are incomplete proteins. However, when they are consumed together as complementary proteins, you can get all the amino acids that your body needs. Nuts, seeds, and most grains are examples of incomplete proteins. You can consume these foods separately or together throughout the day to get the essential amino acids you need. The third macronutrient is fat. People tend to avoid fat in their diets, but dietary fat plays an important role in the body. Fat provides an important source of energy in times of starvation or caloric deprivation. This is what your body uses for energy when dropping weight, like right now in our course. It is also necessary for insulin, proper cell function, and protection of our vital organs. Excessive calorie intake in the form of saturated and trans fats, however, has been linked to a variety of diseases, including heart disease and diabetes type 2. When calorie counting, it is important to understand that fat contains nearly double the calories per gram as protein or carbohydrates. There are different types of fat that can be part of your daily diet. Specifically, dietary fats might be saturated or unsaturated. Saturated fats come mostly from meat and dairy products. These fats are generally solid at room temperature and tend to be shelf stable for a long time. However, when it comes to cardiovascular risk, saturated fats should be avoided from meats versus dairy. Full-fat dairy products either has a neutral or beneficial effect on cardiovascular health. Unsaturated fats include 2 other types of fats, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. Unsaturated fats come from plant sources and fortified foods such as eggs and dairy, as well as fish, seaweed, and grass-fed animal products. These fats are generally liquid even when refrigerated and have a shorter shelf life than saturated fat. These are the type of fats that are good for you, like eggs, nuts. These are what they call healthy fats. When saturated fats in a person's diet are replaced with poly or monounsaturated fats, it can decrease the risk of certain diseases including heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. Now that we know the 3 main macronutrients and their functions, we can put them together to help us lose weight. After all, there have been many scientific papers and studies on this subject. I'm sure you've heard low carb is the best way to lose weight. Well, that's actually mostly correct. But you don't have to, and probably shouldn't, go on a no-carb diet to lose weight, as it will usually come back as soon as you come off it in the form of water weight, as it's also hard to stick to. Remember, carbs retain water, so when you eat carbs, water is coming back onto your body also. The general macro ratio for weight loss is a moderate fat, meaning 20 to 30% of calories, moderate carb, 30 to 40% of calories, and a high protein diet, 25 to 35% of calories. I would personally also advise a 20-40-40 split to lose weight if you are someone who is weight training regularly. In summary, tracking your macros and hitting goals within a calorie allotment is a great way to keep your metabolism humming when hitting a wall. Hello everybody, we are continuing the second act of my course on strategy, tricks and hacks you can use to keep your metabolism humming when it starts to slow. In the previous video, we learned about macronutrients. In this video, we'll be talking about the 3 body types as it goes hand in hand with macronutrients. Body type, or somatotype, refers to the idea that there are 3 generalized body compositions that people are predetermined to have. The concept was theorized by Dr. W.H. Sheldon back in the early 1940s, naming the 3 somatotypes endomorph, mesomorph, and ectomorph. And while some aspects of Sheldon's system have been debunked, contemporary research has confirmed that body type does have implications for athletic performance and diet for weight loss. We will be focusing on the latter for this phase. Here is a brief overview of the 3 types. Ectomorph. They have more narrow shoulders and hips in respect to height, relatively smaller muscles in respect to bone length, naturally fast metabolism makes it difficult for many to gain mass. Ectomorphs are known as hard gainers. If you need to lose any significant amount of body weight, you almost certainly are not an ectomorph body type. The next body type is mesomorph. Mesomorphs have medium bone structures with shoulders wider than the hips. They have developed athletic musculature, an efficient metabolism, mass gain and loss both happen with relative ease. This is a typical high-intensity athlete, like an NFL linebacker. Can easily build muscle, but can also easily gain fat if not careful. And the last is endomorphs. Endomorphs have stockier bone structures with larger midsection and hips. Endomorphs carries more fat throughout the body, gains fat fast, and loses it slow. Naturally slow metabolism. Endomorphs are powerful but not naturally lean. They don't need to work hard for strength, but they do to stay lean. Using the football analogy, again, think of an NFL lineman. More than likely, if you are overly obese, you are an endomorph body type. And of course, there are numerous free tests online if you want to see which body type you truly are. And it's very beneficial to know because once you know what type you are, you can see what diet and macros work best for your type. Ectomorphs should be eating 25% protein, 55% carbs, and 20% fats. Mesomorphs should be eating 30% protein, 40% carbs, and 30% fats. And endomorphs should be 35% protein, 25% carbs, and 40% fats. Also important to note that endomorphs should try to eat carbs in the morning. And remember, your macros are found on your app, so when you're logging your food, it'll automatically tell you what percentage of each macro you're eating. And it's also important to figure out your body type because there are certain exercises that are better suited than others, and we'll be going over that in a future video. But in the next video, we are going to be talking about supplements, which work and which don't. We'll see you then. Hello everybody, let's continue on the second act of my course on strategy, tricks and hacks you can use to keep your metabolism humming when it starts to slow. In this video, I'll be covering supplements. I have found that most supplements, especially weight loss pills as supplements, do not work. And research also supports that. Diet pills, in my opinion, are all marketing and no results. In fact, they will all say works best with diet and exercise right on the bottle. And as I've explained in the first act about the truth of weight loss, it only works because you're in a calorie deficit. So if you're taking the pill and are in a calorie deficit, you think that the pill's working when really you don't need it at all. The other thing that you've noticed with marketing is when they put things like #1 brand, that doesn't mean best, that means most purchases, which means it's probably cheaper with really crappy ingredients that actually don't really work, but it's got a nice person on the profile that's muscular, and that's why you buy it. So again, just be wary of these things. And remember, I didn't use any weight loss pills whatsoever when I did my transformation video. I don't use them now, so I'm not going to recommend any of them. However, not all supplements are bad. Supplements, by definition, is something that completes or enhances something else when added to it. The top supplement I recommend is a whey protein blend. That can be substituted to a plant protein blend if you're vegan. And the reason why it's my top recommendation is that a high protein diet is the most efficient way to lose weight for most people, certainly myself, and most of us have a hard time eating high protein foods, so we don't get enough of it. Additionally, whey protein is a complete protein that digests easily, so once you start working out, you absolutely need protein to recover. Whey protein is made from milk, which is made of two proteins, casein and whey. Whey protein can be separated by casein in milk or formed as a byproduct of making cheese. Whey protein is considered a complete protein as it contains all 9 essential amino acids, and it is also low in lactose content. There are many benefits associated with consumption of whey protein, and researchers are consistently finding possible therapeutic properties. For instance, aiding weight loss. In one study of 158 people published by the Nutrition of Metabolism, those who were given whey lost significantly more body fat and showed greater preservation of lean muscle compared to subjects consuming the controlled beverage. Whey protein is also highly researched and safe to take. There are 2 types of whey proteins that you'll find at the store: whey concentrate and whey isolate. Whey protein concentrate, or WPC, contains low levels of fat and low levels of carbohydrates. The percentage of protein in WPC depends on how concentrated it is. Lower end concentrates tend to have 30% protein, and higher end up to 90%. So again, going back to some of the brands of proteins, if it says concentrate, you don't even know how much of that is protein. But whey protein isolate, however, or WPIs, are further processed to remove all the fat and lactose, and WPI are usually 90% protein. When you look at the nutrition ingredients on the back of the package, it should say whey protein isolate as the primary and first ingredient. If it doesn't say it, it's not a very good whey protein supplement. Side note, you can find a great brand at Walmart called IsoPure. It's 100 calories per scoop, 25 grams protein, 0 carbs, 0 fat. Now that is a great profile. And the first ingredient is whey protein isolate, and then they also add a vitamin blend, which is a huge plus. So when you're looking at this, it's 100 calories and 25 grams of protein. And we know that a gram of protein is 4 calories, which means this is pure 100% protein, and this is what you want to take. And you can just put it in a shake, mix it up, put it in your oatmeal, do whatever you want to get your protein higher for your macros. The other supplement I recommend is a multivitamin. The reason for this is when you're eating less calories, there's a good chance you aren't getting enough vitamins and minerals, and taking a daily multivitamin with 1 meal a day is a great way to stay healthy. Here's the daily vitamin that I take. It's a 1 a day for men's. There's a version for this as women, and it's just got a great profile on the back here: magnesium, zinc, copper, a whole bunch of stuff. And all you really need to do, there's no calories in it. You just take the tablet with a meal, and it'll help boost your micronutrients. There are more supplements that are good that I would recommend, but not necessarily for weight loss. Some people would say green tea. There's some research on that. That's pretty good as well. So if you drink like a black green tea, that's good. That can help. There's some studies on that. If you are weight training, you would want to use something maybe like creatine. Really, I would just stick to the whey protein supplement and the multivitamin, and maybe adding a green tea or something. In conclusion, adding more protein to your diet when you're stuck in a rut will certainly boost your metabolism with its thermogenic effect, and it's an easy adjustment to help you get through roadblocks. So in the next video, we'll discuss outlier factors that will also help you with your weight loss. We'll see you there. Hello everyone, we are still in the second act of my course on strategy, tricks, and hacks you can use to keep your metabolism humming when it starts to slow. In this video, I'll be covering outlier factors. Sometimes when you get on a low-calorie diet and you get stuck, it isn't the diet that needs a tweak, but an unrelated outlier factor such as water, sleep, and stress. Let's dive right into the first one: water. Drinking water increases the number of calories you burn, which is known as resting energy expenditure. In adults, resting energy expenditure has been shown to increase by 24 to 30% within 10 minutes of drinking water, and this lasts at least 60 minutes. A study of overweight women examined the effects of increasing water intake to over 1 liter or 34 ounces per day. They found that over a 12-month period, this resulted in an extra 4.4 pounds of weight loss. Since these women didn't make any lifestyle changes except drink more water, these results are actually very impressive. Additionally, both of these studies indicate that drinking 17 ounces of water results in an extra 23 calories burned. On a yearly basis, that sums up to roughly 17,000 calories or 4.4 pounds of fat. These results may be even more impressive when the water is cold, because when you drink cold water, your body uses the extra calories to warm up the water to body temperature. Additionally, some people claim that drinking water before a meal reduces appetite. There actually seems to be some truth behind this, but almost exclusively in middle-aged and older adults. Studies of older adults have shown that drinking water before each meal increases weight loss by 4.4 pounds over a 12-week period. In one study, middle-aged, overweight, and obese participants who drank water before each meal lost 44% more weight compared to a group that did not drink more water. Another study also showed that drinking water before breakfast reduced the amount of calories consumed during the meal by 13%. Although this may be very beneficial for middle-aged and older people, studies of younger individuals have not shown the same impressive reduction in calorie intake. Nevertheless, it's always a good idea to drink more water. The second outlier factor I'd like to cover is sleep. Short sleep, usually defined as fewer than 6 to 7 hours, has been reportedly linked to a higher body mass index or BMI and weight gain. One analysis of 20 studies including 300,000 people found a 41% increased obesity risk among adults who slept fewer than 7 hours per night. In contrast, sleep was not a factor in the development of obesity in adults who slept longer, 7 to 9 hours per night. Another study found short sleep duration to be significantly associated with greater waist circumference, which is an indication of the accumulation of belly fat. Getting enough sleep may help prevent increases in calorie intake and appetite that can happen when you're sleep deprived. Many studies have found that people who are sleep deprived report having an increased appetite and higher daily caloric intake. In fact, one review of studies found that those who experienced sleep deprivation consumed an additional 385 calories per day, with a greater than usual proportion of those calories coming from fat. Another study showed that sleep deprivation led to significant increases in hunger, food craving, portion sizes, and chocolate and fat intakes. The increase in food intake is likely caused by the effect of sleep on the hunger hormone leptin. When you do not get adequate sleep, the body makes less leptin, leaving you hungry and increasing your appetite. Poor sleep may also decrease your resting metabolic rate, although findings are mixed. So let's dive into the third and final outlier on my list, and that is stress. Researchers have long known that rises in the stress hormone cortisol can lead to weight gain. Every time you're stressed, your adrenal glands release adrenaline and cortisol, and as a result, glucose, which is your primary source of energy, is released into your bloodstream. All of this is done to give you the energy you need to escape from a risky situation, also known as the fight or flight response. Once the threat has subsided, your adrenaline high wears off and your blood sugar spike drops. This is when cortisol kicks into high gear to replenish your energy supply quickly. Cue the sugar cravings. Because sugar supplies your body with the quick energy it thinks it needs, it's often the first thing you reach for when you are stressed. The downside to consuming so much sugar is that your body tends to store sugar, especially after stressful situations. This energy is stored mainly in the form of abdominal fat, which can be particularly hard to shed. And so the vicious cycle starts. Get stressed, release cortisol, gain weight, crave more sugar, eat more sugar, gain more weight. Even if you aren't eating foods high in fat and sugar, cortisol also slows down your metabolism, making it difficult for you to lose weight. In 2015, researchers from Ohio State University interviewed women about the stress they had experienced the previous day before feeding them a high-fat, high-calorie meal. After finishing the meal, scientists measured the women's metabolic rates, the rates at which they burn calories and fat, and examined their blood sugar, cortisol, insulin, and cholesterol levels. The researchers found that, on average, women who reported one or more stressors during the prior 24 hours burned 104 fewer calories than non-stressed women. This could result in an 11-pound weight gain in 1 year. Stressed women also had higher insulin levels, a hormone that contributes to fat storage. Now, stress, of course, is hard to predict and handle. One of the best recommendations to deal with stress is our first outlier of drinking more water. Another recommendation is to eat healthier comfort foods like popcorn. Also, go for a walk. Do anything besides eat to de-stress. In conclusion, there may be simple tricks to get you past a roadblock that aren't even diet or exercise related. It could be as simple as drinking more water, getting more sleep. In the next video, I'll dive into one of my favorite tricks I picked up during my transformation video that I still use all these years later: meal timing. We'll see you there. Hello everyone, we are nearing the end of the second act on my course on strategy, tricks and hacks you can use to keep your metabolism humming when it starts to slow. In this video, I'll be covering one of my favorite tips, meal timing. Sometimes, when you're on a low-calorie diet and you get stuck, it isn't the diet that needs a tweak to boost your metabolism, but meal timing. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism found that if you're trying to lose weight, when you eat dinner compared to when you go to bed might play a key role. The study, which was conducted in a small 20-person sample, 10 male and 10 female participants, found that eating a later dinner lowered the body's fat oxidation, the breaking down of fatty acids in a person's body. Why might a late dinner cause weight gain? Well, when you fall asleep, your metabolic rate drops. You're not moving around and exercising or doing a lot of other things that require a bunch of energy. If you eat and then are immediately inactive, that could lead to burning less fat. Another possibility is related to your body's circadian rhythm. As the day transitions to night, your body's digestive system and energy expending system change as well, which may decrease your body's ability to deal with the fat you eat at that point. Another type of meal timing tip is something that I did during the midpoint of my transformation video, and I have stuck with it ever since. That is intermittent fasting, and it has more benefits than just weight loss. Intermittent fasting is an eating pattern that involves periods of food restriction, called fasting, followed by a period of regular eating. This pattern of eating could help you lose weight, reduce your risk of disease, and increase your lifespan. Some experts even claim its beneficial effects on metabolism make it a healthier way to lose weight than standard calorie restriction, but I have found that doing it with a calorie restriction is much more effective. A 2014 review found that intermittent fasting could help people lose an impressive 3 to 8% of their body weight in 3 to 24 weeks. Interestingly, this approach to eating may also benefit your metabolism and metabolic health, which is vitally important when you are in the process of losing weight. In the vernacular, intermittent fasting keeps your metabolism humming longer. There are a few different ways to try intermittent fasting. Some people follow the 5-2 diet, which involves fasting for 2 days per week. Others practice alternate day fasting, or the 16-8 method, or OMAD, which is an acronym for 1 meal a day. I personally do the 16-8 method on most days. That's basically skipping breakfast but drinking water and black coffee or tea, which won't break your fast. Then I eat from lunchtime to dinner time. So for me, the eating window is from about 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and the fasting window is from 8 p.m. to 12 p.m. If you're someone who loves breakfast, you could try something like 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. eating window and then a 2 p.m. to 8 a.m. fast. Here are some of the benefits that take place during a fasted state. 1, it lowers insulin. Insulin is one of the main hormones involved in fat metabolism. It tells your body to store more fat and stops your body from breaking down fat. Having chronically high levels of insulin can make it much harder to lose weight. High levels of insulin also have been linked to health conditions like obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even cancer. Intermittent fasting has been shown to be effective for lowering your insulin levels. In fact, this eating style could reduce fasting insulin levels by 20 to 31%. Also, when you're in a fasted state, your body releases human growth hormone, or HGH, an important hormone for promoting fat loss. Some studies have shown that in men, levels of human growth hormone may increase as much as 5-fold while fasting. That's crazy. So if you're trying to build muscle, I would definitely try intermittent fasting. Increases in blood levels of human growth hormone not only promote fat burning, but they also preserve muscle mass and have other benefits related to anti-aging. And again, I speak from experience. I've been intermittent fasting for about 7 years now, and I haven't aged a whole lot. I'm 40 years old, by the way. I attribute intermittent fasting as a key lifestyle choice that helps me maintain weight and muscle mass. There's a plethora of information on intermittent fasting online. It is well researched and safe. And this is my number one tip I strongly recommend when you hit a roadblock. You may not be able to keep it up long term, as it's not for everyone, but if you do find it fairly easy, like I do, the benefits are amazing, and it will definitely keep your metabolism humming when you hit a roadblock. So in my next video, I'll tackle my last tip for Act 2, and we'll recap what we've learned before we dive into Act 3. See you there. All right, everyone, this is the last video on my second act, of course, on strategy, tricks and hacks you can use to keep your metabolism humming when it starts to slow. In this video, I'll be covering the tip of meal prep. Meal prep is a great tool to incorporate everything we've covered in this act: macros, supplements, nutrients, and timing. Meal prepping is the concept of preparing whole meals or dishes ahead of schedule. It's particularly popular amongst busy people because it can save a lot of time. Having pre-prepared meals on hand can also reduce portion size and help you reach your calorie and nutrition goals. This way, you'll avoid unhealthy options like TV dinners or takeout, especially when you're overwhelmed or exhausted. Despite what people may think, there are various ways to meal prep, not all of which involve spending a whole Sunday afternoon cooking dishes for the week to come. There's make-ahead meals, full meals cooked in advance, which can be refrigerated and reheated at meal times, and this is particularly handy for dinner time meals. There's batch cooking, which is making large batches of a specific recipe, then splitting it into individual portions to be frozen and eaten over the next few months. Individually proportioned meals, preparing fresh meals and portioning them into individual grab-and-go portions to be refrigerated and eaten over the next few days. This is particularly handy for quick lunches. And then there's ready-to-cook ingredients, which is preparing the ingredients required for specific meals ahead of time as a way to cut down cooking time in the kitchen. The method that'll work best for you depends on your goals and daily routine. Also, there have been many companies emerging in recent years that actually do meal prep for you. They do all the cooking, preparing, and will ship it right to your door. All you have to do is go online and order based on your caloric value and macronutrients. They will cook and do all of the work and send it to you. This is an easy way to stay on track, as well as mix up your diet to keep your metabolism humming. Another way to do it, instead of meal prepping, is what I do a lot of times when I cut weight, is I will eat the same meals every single day. And not all 3 meals, but 2 meals. Because again, I'm intermittent fasting, so the 2 things that I eat every day are eggs with little egg whites in it and some sort of protein and vegetable. And then I will also have a oatmeal with some whey protein mixed in there, a little bit of chia seed with almond milk and some berries. And that profile for me is 983 calories, which is 28% fat, 21% carbs, and 51% protein. If you find foods you like, I would just eat them all the time, especially if it has a good profile. Meal prep is the final tip for Act 2. But before we break into Act 3, I want to recap what we've learned. This whole course is based exactly off what I did to make my transformation video. Act 1, I just calorie counted what I was currently eating, and I did that for about 2 months before I hit a roadblock. And then in Act 2, I started trying different things to get past those roadblocks while staying in a calorie deficit, and I've covered all of those here. I tried one thing at a time and stuck with it until I needed to adjust it. The Act 2 process was about 4 months for me. By the end of Act 2, 6 months in, I was calorie counting nutritious foods with a 20-40-40 macro profile while intermittent fasting and meal prepping, along with supplementing with whey protein and a multivitamin. And again, I didn't do that all at the start. It was a gradual process. and I was in the habit of making solid choices, and I really did it without thinking about it. I was feeling good and wanted to take my journey to the next level, and that's when I knew it was time for me to get moving. And that is the final act of the course. It's time to break into Act 3. We'll see you there. Greetings everyone, we are now starting the third act of my course, which is the last phase of weight loss in my opinion, and that is exercise. More than likely, you've seen my transformation video, and you may be thinking I started running right at the start, as that was in my video. Well, I didn't start exercising until the final third of the process, and I actually didn't do a whole lot of running to begin with. When I was making the transformation video, I was really trying to focus on the transformation part, which was the time lapse. For the whole video, you'd want to show things like running or exercise because it's a better visual than, per se, cracking eggs. It's technically true, I did do those things, I just didn't do them all right at the start. The reason I avoided exercise until the end was due to my overall strategy of not doing too much, too fast. I also had a very busy work life and didn't have time for the gym. But the time did come where I needed to give my metabolism a boost. It was at this point, when my diet habits were solid, that I started looking into exercises. Through the course of this act, we'll discuss the types of exercises, weight and cardio, high-intensity training. But first, I think it's important to know some of the benefits of exercises in general, so I'm going to list 6 reasons exercise is a good idea. And then I'll end this video with my number 1 exercise to start the process. First, overall health and chronic disease. Lack of regular physical activity is a primary cause for chronic disease. Regular exercise has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity, heart health, and body composition. It can also decrease blood pressure and cholesterol levels. Number 2, increased levels. Aerobic exercise boosts the cardiovascular system and improves lung health, which can significantly help with energy levels. As you move, your heart pumps more blood, delivering more oxygen to your working muscles. With regular exercise, your heart becomes more efficient and adept at moving oxygen into your blood, making your muscles more efficient. 3, exercise is good for your muscles and bones. Activities like weightlifting can stimulate muscle building when paired with adequate protein intake. This is because exercise helps release hormones that promote your muscles' ability to absorb amino acids. This helps them grow and reduces their breakdown. As people age, they tend to lose muscle mass and function, which can lead to increased risk of injury. Practicing regular physical activity is essential to reducing muscle loss and maintaining strength as you age. Exercise also helps build bone density when you're younger, in addition to helping prevent osteoporosis later in life. And 4, brain health and memory. Exercise can improve brain function and protect memory and thinking skills. To begin with, it increases your heart rate, which promotes the flow of blood and oxygen to your brain. It can also stimulate the production of hormones that enhance the growth of brain cells. Exercise has been shown to cause the hippocampus, a part of the brain that's vital for memory and learning, to grow in size, which may help improve mental function in older adults. And 5, exercise can make you feel happier. Exercise has been shown to improve your mood and decrease feelings of depression, anxiety, and stress. It produces changes in the parts of the brain that regulate stress and anxiety. It can also increase brain sensitivity to certain hormones which relieve feelings of depression. Additionally, exercise can increase the production of endorphins, which are known to help produce positive feelings and reduce the perception of pain. Doesn't matter how intense your workout is, exercise can benefit your mood no matter the intensity of the physical activity. Last but not least, exercise aids in weight loss. While dieting, a reduced calorie intake will lower your metabolic rate, which can temporarily delay your weight loss. On the contrary, regular exercise has been shown in studies to increase your metabolic rate, which can burn more calories to help you lose weight. That is, of course, what we want, and this is why we need to start incorporating exercise right now. In summary, it is a really good idea to exercise for more than just weight loss. And now, I'm going to tell you the best and easiest form of exercise that you can start right now: walking. Walking may seem too simple to have any sort of benefit, but studies have shown quite the opposite actually. While walking itself can help you lose weight, it's much more effective when combined with a calorie-restricted diet, which of course you are all on. In a 12-week study, people with obesity restricted calories by 500 to 800 per day. One group walked 3 hours per week at 3.7 miles per hour, and the other group didn't walk at all. While both groups lost a significant amount of body weight, those in the walking group lost about 4 pounds more on average than those who didn't walk. Interestingly, weight loss may be influenced by whether you walk continuously or in shorter bursts. In a 24-week study, women with excess weight or obesity restricted their calorie intake by 500 to 600 per day and either walked briskly for 50 minutes or did 2 25-minute bouts per day. Those who did the shorter workouts per day lost 3.7 pounds more than those who did 50 minutes of continuous walking. Nonetheless, other studies showed no significant difference in weight loss between continuous and intermittent walking, so you should choose whichever routine works best for you. Also, many experts advise making 7,500 to 10,000 steps a day as a goal. It is the equivalent of 5 miles, and you'll burn about 300 calories or so, which will help your low-calorie diet and keep your metabolism going. All right, everyone, now that we've understood the importance of exercise for overall health, as well as keeping your metabolism going, I think it's important to keep the same strategy we've used up to this point. Try one thing at a time to notice results, and then add others as you hit the wall. Walking is the first thing I suggest doing if you haven't already. In the next video, I'll cover the 2 common types of training, cardio and resistance training. I'll see you there. Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to tackle 2 common forms of exercises, cardio and resistance training, and discuss which of the 2, or both, are right for you. Before we dive into comparisons, let's first describe what exactly they are. Cardio is short for cardiovascular training, and it encompasses any exercises, such as running, swimming, cycling, or dancing, that elevates your heart rate. Cardio is considered aerobic exercise, meaning it demands elevated oxygen flow, which causes you to breathe harder. Resistance training is a form of exercise that increases muscular strength and endurance by exercising a muscle or muscle groups against external resistance. Resistance training can be performed by using body weight exercises like push-ups, pull-ups, or squats, or exercises that use equipment like bands, dumbbells, kettlebells, barbells, etc. The main weight loss differences of the 2 are that cardio will burn more calories per session than resistance training. And resistance training will build more muscle and thus burn more calories at rest. So which is right for you? Well, I suppose it depends on your goals, preferences, and possibly your gender as well. A study by the National Library of Medicine measured participants' resting metabolic rate during 24 weeks of weight training. In men, weight training led to a 9% increase in the resting metabolism. The effects in women were smaller, with an increase of almost 4%. While this may sound good, it's important to think about how many calories this represents. For the men, resting metabolism increased by about 140 calories per day. In women, it was only about 50 calories per day. Thus, weight training and building a little bit of muscle won't make your metabolism skyrocket, but it may increase it by a small amount. However, weight training also has other important calorie burning benefits. Specifically, research has shown that you burn more calories in the hours following a weight training session compared to cardio workout. In fact, there are reports of a resting metabolism staying elevated for up to 38 hours after weight training, while no such increase has been reported with cardio. For most types of exercise, a more intense workout will increase the numbers of calories you burn afterwards. Because resistance training builds muscle, it will also give you a different aesthetic look than cardio. Think of a marathon runner or a swimmer. They are lean, fit, but not particularly muscular. Now think of a weightlifter or a bodybuilder. They pack on more muscle on their body and usually do very little cardio in comparison to resistance training. Having said that, proper weightlifting regimens require intermediate to advanced techniques. And, being true to my transformation video in which I didn't lift weights or go to the gym, you'll want to start by doing body weight resistant trainings like push-ups, pull-ups, squats, which are a great way for beginners to build muscle. So, if you're someone who wants more muscle and feel like you're strong enough to do push-ups, pull-ups, and squats, I'd recommend starting there. And if you're someone who loves to dance or swim, I'd recommend cardio. Or you can do what I did, which was a combination of both in a form known as HIIT, or high intensity interval training. And I will be going on depth on HIIT in the next video, and we'll see you there. All right, everyone, in this video I'm going to talk about what I did to tackle both cardio and resistance training for my transformation video. I combined them both for an exercise known as HIIT. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training and is one of the most popular forms of exercise, in part due to its high effectiveness in a short amount of time. This is one of the main reasons why I love HIIT, because I didn't have time to go to the gym, and most HIIT workouts are 15 minutes or less, and you can do them at home or really anywhere. High intensity interval training is a challenging workout performed at an intense level. Interval training means exercises are done in bursts with short recovery periods in between. So for instance, guys, it's like doing jumping jacks and getting your heart rate up for 30 seconds and then stopping for 30 seconds, and then doing jumping jacks or some other exercise like burpees for 30 seconds. Typically, cardio and strength training are combined to create a well-rounded, high-intensity interval training workout. Your heart rate will go up, your muscles may fatigue, and you will feel winded. By combining high-intensity bursts of cardio, brief rest, and circuit-style strength training, you keep your body guessing. In this way, HIIT workouts are strategically designed to help you get a lot accomplished physically in a short amount of time, which is what I love. HIIT offers a big calorie burn, revs up your metabolism, aids in weight loss, and builds strength and muscle. Because there are hardly any pauses in a HIIT workout, you can reap these benefits in less than half the time of steady-state exercises like running on a treadmill. Other benefits of HIIT include an increase in muscle mass, better oxygen consumption, reduced blood sugar, and improved blood pressure. Research also shows that interval training like HIIT is best for fat loss because HIIT training not only increases your metabolism during the workout, but it stays elevated after the workout is complete, meaning your body is burning more calories at rest. HIIT is appropriate for most people, including both men and women, and those of any age. You also need to be aware of any physical limitations. It's important to note that high intensity doesn't have to mean high impact. For instance, if you suffer from joint issues or pain, you should incorporate low impact but high intensity. Exercises like speed squats, mountain climbers, and marching in place. If you have no joint issues or pain, you are safe to experiment with higher impact exercises like high knees, jumping jacks, and burpees. As always, you should consult with your doctor before starting any exercise program. Any form of movement can be done HIIT style, whether you're doing pure cardio like walking or jogging, or doing strength exercises. Adding intervals to your cardio routine is a simple way to start experimenting with HIIT training. Let's just say you're doing steady state cardio like walking. Add intervals by playing with speed. For example, walking at a slow pace for 1 minute, followed by a fast pace for 1 minute. Another way to incorporate HIIT into your workout is to alternate between strength exercises and bursts of cardio. This could look like doing a strength exercise like push-ups for 1 minute and then going into a 1-minute cardio burst like high knees, and alternating like this between cardio and strength for the duration of your workout. Guys, you can find literally hundreds of free HIIT workouts on YouTube by simply searching HIIT workouts. You should try some out and find some you like, or you can create your own HIIT workout by combining exercise you can perform and then move on to others. In the next video, I'll be discussing exercise that you can do right from your home, no gym required. We'll see you there. Hello everybody, in this video I'll be going over my top 10 exercises I regularly use in my transformation video, all of which you can do at your home or office, no gym required. Before I jump into my list, it's important to know what my goal fitness level was when I was losing weight. I wanted to end up with a lean, ripped look which required a good amount of resistance training in my HIIT workouts. It's also important to note, of course, that I am a man, and men tend to focus more on the upper body more than women, who tend to focus more on the lower body. Having said that, it is generally a good idea to incorporate full body exercises when doing HIIT workouts for overall muscular growth. Jumping jacks are a great warm-up cardio exercise. Jumping jacks have a wealth of benefits like mobility, increased blood flow, training in the frontal plane, and overall joint motion. Jumping jacks are also a plyometric exercise. Plyometrics are explosive aerobic moves that increase speed, quickness, and power, and they work your whole body. Single leg squats are a resistance exercise that work your glutes, calves, shins, thighs, and abs. The single leg squat is a squat movement that's performed on only one leg. It adds balance and stability challenge to the traditional squat. This type of squat is an intermediate to advanced exercise. You should only move on to single leg squats after you've mastered the squat movement on both legs. High knees are a cardio exercise. Within a few seconds of beginning the move, you will notice an increase of your heart rate and breathing. As you continue alternating your knees and arms, you'll also burn calories. High knees activate your quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, glutes, and hip flexors, helping improve muscular endurance, balance, and coordination in these muscles. When done at high intensity and with bounding or explosive knee drives, they can also improve power in your lower body. Jump lunges are a cardio/resistance exercise that work your hamstrings, glutes, and quads. It is also a plyometric exercise which works overall power and strength. Jump lunges are an advanced technique that you should only attempt after you master the traditional lunge. Push-ups are a compound upper body resistance exercise that works your chest, triceps, and shoulders. For anyone that can do them, these are an absolute must to build muscles and strengthen your upper body. Pull-ups are a compound upper body resistance exercise that works your entire upper body and back, primarily lats, as well as your biceps. Pull-ups are extremely difficult, but if you can do one or two, you should definitely do them. Then do flexed arm hangs, which is starting at the top and slowly coming down. Eventually, you'll work your way up to working sets. I remember when I started, I could only do 3 pull-ups. Now I do sets of 12 to 15. Mountain climbers are a cardio exercise that works your core. This is one of the only ab exercises I do because it doesn't hurt my back like doing sit-up or crunches. Also, good to note that people think that you have to do an ab routine to get abs, and I didn't. You have to be lean. You have to have a low body fat percentage to actually see your abs, but you do want to do some sort of core exercise as well, but you don't have to target them too much. Just get lean and the abs will pop. A sidearm plank is an isometric exercise that works your core, obliques, shoulders, and legs. Isometric means no movement. You just hold the pose. The plank hip roll will strengthen your core and give extra focus to your obliques while tightening and trimming your own waist. Oblique training can even help improve other exercises like squatting and deadlifts. Burpees are a calisthenic exercise. This means they use your body weight for resistance. With burpees, the focus is on a full body calisthenic workout that aims to build muscle, strengthen endurance in both your lower and upper body. A standard burpee exercise works to strengthen the muscles in your legs, hips, buttocks, abdomen, arm, chest, and shoulders. That's my top 10 list, though there are hundreds more that you can do at your home or office. It's best to find a few things that work for you and target different areas of your body. Your upper body, your lower body, and your core. Doing these exercises 5 to 15 minutes a day is all you really need to get your heart rate up and thus boost your metabolism. As always, you want to start small and build up to a strong workout regimen that you can handle. You'll find that after about a month or two of exercise, assuming your diet is on point, you'll get closer and closer to your goal weight. But then what happens when you hit your goal? Well, in the next video, I'll be talking about how to ease off a low-calorie diet so you don't gain all the weight back. We'll see you there. All right, everyone, we're nearing the end of the course, which likely means you're getting close to your goal weight loss weight. What happens when you hit that goal? How do you assimilate to a normal maintenance weight? In this video, I'll be covering that very important question. Once you've reached your weight loss goal, you're likely going to automatically want to jump your calories up to maintenance level. Not so fast. You've been on a calorie deficit for so long that your metabolism is a bit shot and you'll gain back some unnecessary weight if you're not careful. There is a strategy for this with 2 key points. The first point is going a few pounds past your goal weight, knowing that some of it will likely come right back on. The second point is a principle called reverse dieting. Reverse dieting is slowly adding calories into your diet week by week to aid your metabolism's recovery, and then eventually you'll get to your maintenance level. How long you are in a calorie deficit should determine how long you should reverse diet. If it was a short diet, let's say under 8 weeks, you can bump it up to maintenance in 1 to 2 weeks. If it was a longer diet, like mine was, you're going to want to take 3 to 5 weeks. I know for me, I just increased my calories by 150 each week, and I know that sounds hard as you aren't seeing weight come off the scale anymore, but it is crucial that you don't regain any of that hard work fat loss due to low metabolism. If you take your time, your metabolism will recover and you'll be able to maintain your new body weight with more calories than if you do it the other way, which is just going to maintenance level. But whatever you do not go right to eating whatever you want when you hit your goal. It will have disastrous results. I promise you, you're going to want to ease into it. Another thing you may consider is something called a diet break. A diet break is when you go on a prolonged low-calorie diet and intentionally reboot your metabolism. A diet break refers to a planned period of 7 to 14 days where we increase calorie intake to loosen the counting restrictions we've placed on ourselves. They help break up the monotony of a diet and make adherence easier. When you have a lot of fat to lose, it can be very tough to stay motivated for months on end. Similarly, if you're trying to get shredded lean, like I was, the body fights back harder during the last stages of the diet. A diet break also helps if you're going on vacation, as you'll be able to enjoy yourself more than when you're not on a diet. So if you do decide to go on a diet break before hitting your goal, you should still take a week or two just to get up to that maintenance level, and then drop your calories back to cutting levels after 2 weeks. This approach will help you in the long run. It also allows you to set new goals. And setting new goals is very important to prolonged success, and I'll be explaining that in the next video. I'll see you there. Hello everyone, we've reached the end of the third act of my weight loss course, and thus we're at the end of the course itself. You've learned the truth about weight loss, incorporated a strategy to ease into it, and now you've hit or neared your goal and are going into maintenance. So what now? Well, set new goals. Once you've hit your goal, you should definitely congratulate yourself and take a few weeks off. And then set a new goal. The goals could be losing more weight if you need it, or trying to fit into an old piece of clothing, maintaining the weight you've lost, building muscle and recomposing your figure. It's vitally important that you do something, because otherwise you're going to be like, been there, done that, and then you're just going to let yourself go. So whatever your new goal is, you now have the knowledge how to cut weight at any time for any reason. That was my mission from the beginning. That is also the reason why I've kept my weight off from the transformation video for the past several years. Once you understand how to actually cut weight, you can bulk up in the gym building muscle if you want, and then cut down later in the summer. We've talked about body types in this course. If you're overweight, then you're more than likely the body type that can build muscle very easily. Most people don't have a hard time building muscle, they have a hard time losing weight. And you are now a master of losing weight. You can take the truth about weight loss and the principles learned and expand further and achieve greater results than I did. Because there's no one way to do it, as long as you understand the truth that you must be in a calorie deficit. The way I did it, I explained to the best of my abilities, as truthful as possible. Calorie count the foods you are currently eating until you hit a wall. Act 2, expand on the truth. Mix up how and when you eat to keep your metabolism going. Doing one thing different in your diet every time you hit a wall. And Act 3 is get moving. Giving your metabolism a boost with some sort of exercise to build muscle and burn fat. It's these 3 acts or steps that I use to transform my body. Having said that, acts, like in a movie, can't be played out simultaneously. You need to play out Act 1 first, then Act 2, and then Act 3. It's the best way to keep your metabolism humming, and it's the best way I found to not fail, because doing everything at once is a recipe for disaster. This course is, again, exactly what I did to make my transformation video. And now it's yours. It worked for me, it's worked for everyone I've coached, and now it's worked for you. I greatly appreciate you for allowing me to teach you my course, and I want to hear from you. So please let me know the results you've received. I look forward to hearing from you. This is Nino Aldi from 3 Act. Take care and God bless.